think we've done an hour and 20. God, time flies, doesn't it? I'm so glad that you find that this is all helping. I'm really just trying to, I want to help you guys. I want to make sure that I want you. I know how easy it is to not have the courage to follow through with this and to get self-doubt. Okay, this is why I meditate. But even I still get those little self-doubt stories popping up all the time. And I feel like the more you guys know all of this stuff, the more you'll be able to like actually get in there and create your experience. So step 5, Trisha, yes, I think there will be a replay. There will be a replay that will be sent out, I'm pretty sure. I have a team that help me with all of the back-end stuff these days. I will check with them, but I'm pretty sure there'll be a replay for this, 100%. Okay, so the time has come. Yes, the time has come for the big event. So step 5, it's your retreat. Okay, I know there's so much stuff that I've mentioned before this. Now we're actually at the retreat. Now, like I said, a retreat can be so many different things. So I'm not going to spend the next hour telling you all of the stuff I've learned about running retreats specifically in there, because I just know that once you get all these right people together and you have a journey defined and you know your own self-worth, like this stuff just starts unfolding naturally. Okay. But I do have a few pieces of wisdom for you. Number 1 is when you're running your first retreat, don't overdo it with your itinerary, okay? You don't need to make a school excursion, okay? It doesn't need to be packed to the rim, because remember, what's valuable, sorry, excuse me, I ate an apple before this. You don't need to, if you try to cram your itinerary filled with 5,000 things, like, tell me you don't fully believe in your transformation without telling me you don't fully believe in your transformation, right? You should be able to just do like a workshop or 2 per day with a day off in between in the middle of the retreat. Let's say if it's a 5-6 day retreat, and condense what you need to teach them in a way where like in 90 minutes, they have an epiphany, okay? Most of these people are going to be going on your retreat as their holiday. So it's a holiday with a life-changing purpose behind it. So if you just cram it full of stuff, then there at the end of the week, they're going to be like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. So allow time for people to integrate information. Remember, they're all going to be hanging out and talking to their new best friends and opening up and being emotional and everything else. Like, give them that space. So make it easy for yourself by not going too crazy with your itinerary and filling it with stuff, okay? And just have a nice balance, okay? Like, we literally have a day off in the middle of the retreat where we say, hey, today, go out into Bali and do whatever it is you want, okay? We do workshops in the morning. Then there's a lunch break for 3-4 hours where we don't really do anything. And then there's morning activities, and then there's evening activities, because we know that, you know, our retreat, the one that we do in Bali, is like, there's all the stuff for them to do outside of the venue. So, and this also helps where, depending what you choose as your venue, if you choose a venue by some kind of attraction, by a town, by a beach, by whatever, it helps a lot, you know, if people can kind of entertain themselves. But yeah, number 1 is don't worry about overdoing it. You don't need to cram everything. It's more about quality than quantity. The second thing is start strong and finish strong. Okay, have an opening to the retreat and have a definite closing to the retreat. One of the best things you can do is do a sharing circle. Okay, we do sharing circles. I'm sure you guys will know about this as well, but like, sharing circles are a wonderful thing. You don't actually have to do anything. You just create an environment where people can be open and speak from the heart and be heard, and then it just moves around the circle without even people addressing what's been said, right? And quite often when we do this, you know, we'll give people like 2-3 minutes just to speak and have everybody listen. And at the end, people are like, my God, the sharing circles, they were so amazing. I've never just spoken for 3 minutes and had everybody just listen uninterrupted, you know? So make sure you have name tags. Okay, make sure you have name tags. Make sure that everybody gets to introduce themselves in the first sharing circle, so that everybody has said their name, because you're going to have some people who might be more socially anxious, and if they don't feel like they got to, you know, put themselves out there for a moment in the beginning, it can kind of create a weird energy after a little while. So, you know, start strong, be open, like have an opening speech, a little introduction, then have a sharing circle, and then also have a ceremony at the end of the retreat where everybody sits in the circle again. You set the intention, you close the energy. Then there's something called generous authority, which I learned from a book called The Art of Gathering, which is just that you have to realize that you have to step into the shoes of being the leader of the retreat. Okay, don't do what a lot of people, what I used to do, which is I used to host parties, and I'd be a chill host, which means you hang back and let everybody just do whatever they're going to do. Just realize that when you're running a retreat, these people have decided that for the duration of the retreat, they've decided to come together and they want to be under your guidance. Okay. You are their leader for however many days. So if somebody steps out of line, it's on you to have a talk with them. If you need everybody to go to the bus at a certain time to go on an excursion, you are the one who's going to have to speak up and say, hey guys, it's time 5 minutes from now. Learn to step into the role of being the person who's actually controlling the frame, who's controlling the experience. I'm more naturally a laid back person in these situations. And I've had to learn to be like, I got to step up, because if you don't, it creates a power vacuum that people will unconsciously sense. And if somebody there is more extroverted and more outspoken, it can create almost like a little bit of a mutiny, right? Where this one person will start, they don't mean it in a bad way, but they'll start speaking louder and they'll start making plans because you have abdicated your power. So just remember, this is something people do. Humans and all creatures build these pyramids of power. Okay. So you, as the leader of the retreat, need to retain your power position at the top. And you do this in a positive, a kind, and generous way. You are a good leader. You're not a tyrant, right? But definitely keep that in mind. And then the biggest thing as well is a lot of people, when they run the retreats, they get overwhelmed with all the logistics and is everything going to work out just right and just to plan. Just remember, there's a famous saying from some army colonel who said, when the battle begins, the plan goes out the window. Or I think Theodore Roosevelt once said, plans are useless, planning is indispensable. So do the work before the retreat to plan out the exact experience for every single day. And this is how it should ideally exactly go. And this is what I'm going to say here. And this is when we're going to leave wherever. But then when the retreat is actually happening, relax a bit. Okay. Stay present. Take it one moment at a time, because if some problem will arise, and problems always arise, the bus is late, or somebody's sick, or the food is a bit delayed, or whatever it is, right? Just remember, 60 seconds is a long ass time if you hold your breath underwater. Okay. If you just stay present, you'll be able to solve everything in that moment. The key is you are setting the tone for the entire retreat. So you need to stay calm and not be stressed. This is why you need to practice a lot of self-care during a retreat. I highly recommend doing a meditation practice. Do the meditation practice yourself in the morning. Just calm your brain down, then go out there and just be the calm center of the universe for everyone else. Now, honestly, retreats, I find they are like, it's just been the most amazing way to create financial abundance. Okay. Because I'm going to assume that like you are here because you want to help people. Okay. But you also want to be abundant. Okay. You want to have a great life. You want to be able to have a house and, look after your friends and your family or your kids or something. And, but at the same time, I also want to say you probably want to make memories. The thing that I've realized over the last 12 years of doing all of this digital stuff is, well, I have barely any memories that I've made sitting in front of a screen. And like, that's a bit of a shame. And so the wonderful thing about retreats is that you actually get to make core memories. Like, you will make some of your favorite memories, but you get paid for it. And you're helping people in a way where at the end of the week, even though you just got paid so well, everyone's like, my God, thank you. This was the best week of my life. So these are the things that I know. And I know from everything that I've tried that retreats, this is actually something that will create that financial freedom where you're not on a treadmill the entire time. Okay. Like everything I tried before this, I always felt like I was on a treadmill. I had to keep posting. I had to keep showing up. I had to keep doing live launches. I had to keep coaching. And then now with retreats, I have these little week-long pockets throughout the week that literally generate an entire year's revenue by the average income. And I have all the time in between to do whatever it is that I want. Now, I could run more retreats. In my case, I'm building apps. I have a personal development online course company. I teach people how to run retreats, and I still have all this time off in between. So, if you are on the fence about adding retreats to your business, like, all I can say is like, do it. Okay. Retreats are a vehicle that allows for more connection, for more impact, and more time for you. And all I can say is the more that you do them, the easier it gets. Because, for instance, I've now run so many that we have libraries of little videos along the way. That makes marketing easier and easier. We have, five-star reviews on Facebook that people are finding. We have SEO that's been slowly ticking off over time. So when somebody types in self-love retreat Bali or something in Google, we're the first result. So this thing's a flywheel that only gets easier and easier once you get started, even though it can feel like there's a bit of friction in the beginning. Now, the other thing is, if you're passionate about transformation, one thing I will say is retreats to me have been the deepest form of being able to provide transformation and lasting results for people for two reasons. When people come on a retreat, they disconnect from everything that's reinforcing who they are in their everyday life. So you have them suddenly in this container where nothing's reinforcing who they are on the outside. It's just why we also recommend usually that people, let their family and friends and partners know that, like, hey, for the next few days, I need to unplug and just be here and have this experience so that they can be in this vacuum. Okay. So you really have an amazing opportunity to make real changes in people because you have their attention and their energy for so long, and everyone that they're interacting with is on the same journey as them. Now, beyond that, at the end of the retreat, they've made lifelong friends, deeper friends that they probably have in their everyday to-day life because they've gone through something with them together. And that becomes their accountability system. Okay. They can reach out to these people. They have core memories so that when whatever behavior, emotional challenge, tendency pops up again, they can be like, wait, I already dealt with this. I have 1,000 memories in my head associated with me overcoming this thing when I went on that rite of passage. So it's just an incredible opportunity. Okay, so how was that? Let me know in the chat if you guys have enjoyed this presentation so far. Now, the thing that I do want to ask is, I know that I've just shared a lot of stuff and I've still only, in some essence, scratched the surface. I mean, a lot of the stuff's really deep, but like there's still so much more that I want to share with you guys. But I do want to ask, are you feeling overwhelmed right now? Because I don't want you, drop in the chat, like, are you excited? Are you overwhelmed? Do you feel inspired to put your concept together? Are you scared? Drop in the chat how you're feeling right now. Now, I know what this feels like because I've been there. I've been through this journey, and I don't want you guys to leave this presentation feeling like, okay, great. Chris has filled my head with all this amazing stuff. And now where do I begin? So when I started Retreat Launch, over a year ago, I asked myself, like, I just wanted to build a bridge for people who want to create transformation, who want to help people, who want to live an abundant life, who want to have impact. And I want to make this as easy as possible for you guys. So I asked myself, what would that look like? And so I actually created a program, which, I'm sure you guys saw coming at the end of this presentation. So I created something that can guide you through this process and just cut the learning curve. Okay. Like I've had some serious dark nights of the soul along this journey when, my retreats weren't selling and when I had put my money on the line and when, 3 people had booked. And so I've got to go ahead, but I still need 5 more people to book before this even becomes profitable. And, your nervous system can really get jacked. And I don't want that for you guys. I want to make this as smooth and easy as possible. So, and I don't want you to have to be a crazy online marketer and do all the research that I've had to. I find that some of the greatest coaches in the world are not really the greatest marketers, right? Because it's a totally different discipline. And so what I really want to do is I want to be able to create a situation where people who want to do this work can stay in that energy, focus on the people, focus on the transformation, and just help as much as I can with all of the, crap that I've learned in marketing books and from funnel trainings and all these things. And so that's why I've created an online course. Now, I want to know if you guys want to hear about it. So just drop in the chat, drop a yes, and I can spend the next 15, 20 minutes just telling you about what it is. And then you can decide if you want that help on your journey, then you guys can jump on board with it as well. Great. I can see a lot of inspired in the message. Okay, great. And I'm getting a couple of yeses here as well. So I'm going to jump in and great. You feel ready for the tools. All right. I'm going to jump in and just tell you guys about this, and then you guys can decide whether this is right for you. So I have called this program, this is called the Retreat Launch Accelerator Program, okay? And it aims to help you launch a highly profitable retreat in as little as 2 to 6 weeks with step-by-step guidance, okay? I just want to give you the total structure. Now, in the program itself, okay, I've put everything in there that I wish that I had when I first started like 4 or 5 years ago. So there is a customer avatar worksheet with 100 questions that you fill out that 100 questions. Then at the end, you rewrite all of the answers as a single self-statement essay, basically. And by the time you get through that, you are able to fully tap into a single person's mindset, which then informs everything else. I have a lot of information about, itineraries. I've shuffled around my itineraries a lot over all of the retreats that I've done, and I've got it now to a point where it really, really flows. So I've got that as long with worksheets to help you work that out. There is a VSL structure so that you can make a video that actually retains attention, that takes them on that journey and converts them. As I said before, I used to be a graphic designer. So I actually spent like a couple hours building a sales page, and I filmed it and narrated it. And I just gave a lot of like little things that, you learn after being a graphic designer for 5 to 10 years, which anyone can do, but you just don't see it in the beginning. So there's a whole video that you can watch while I build this page. And I've seen from people's feedback that some of the stuff in there really helped them transform from a page that, just wasn't grabbing people, just wasn't looking credible, just was like all over the place, to something that suddenly like starts strong. There's also a whole sales call structure and script in there, which, like I said, is super, super valuable, so that when you get on those calls, you just have like a structure to follow, and then you can guide the person through that journey all the way to them converting. Also, application forms. I've got all of the questions that we use for our retreats in there. There's also a launch strategy that I like to use that kind of tilts the incentive in favor, so that people start booking straight away, and then it just kind of like it levels out that you end up making the exact same money, but you can shift things in a way where the early bird gets basically in first, and then it just builds this FOMO towards people wanting to get the last spots. And then there's also an entire guide on, retreat logistics, all of the things that I've learned along the way for how to actually hold the space and just like little things that'll come up that you might learn after you've run a few retreats. But like, I just want you to hit the ground running. Now, this is actually what it looks like. So there's 6 weeks. So I've got all these videos in here, customer avatar, right place, right time, irresistible retreat offer. This is an entire worksheet where you start building out like an actual offer that people go, wow, that's for me. There's, building out your itinerary, pricing guides. There's also a pricing calculator in there. The whole sales page workshop, sales page follow along, and a second one as well that I built. I did one, actually, I rebuilt one of our customers, one of our students' sales pages for them, and I recorded the entire process as well. Application forms, sales funnel overview, sales scripts, VSL, Calendly, setups, then all the different ways that you can generate leads that I've used. So organic emails, short form videos. I'm going to talk a bit in a moment about the organic YouTube masterclass, because to me, this is like one of the biggest things that you can use as a powerful weapon. Webinars like the one that I'm doing right now, collaborations, paid traffic I'm going to get to as well. And then there's 2 weeks of facilitation information at the end as well. Now, to me, I put the value, this is an entire career. I use this to make multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So I'm going to put a value of like 10 grand on this. You're also in this, there's a bunch of extras. You're going to get my applications on demand funnel. So I've done a lot of organic marketing, but I've also figured out how to do paid marketing. If you haven't got a big community, and it's really powerful. It's actually quite wild. So, a lot of people tell me they've got no applications coming through. I was able, with the first set of ads that I made for TikTok, I was getting applications for $2.28. And so then when I looked into my Typeform, and the TikTok ads interface is actually quite a lot easier than the Facebook ads interface. There is a Facebook ads training in there as well, though. But when I looked at my Typeform where the applications are, like I was literally getting applications like every hour. So I would wake up in the morning and I'd have 20, 30, 40 applications coming in per day on a $100 budget. Now think about it. If you get 40 people applying for $2-3 each, that means you spend $100. That's 40 opportunities to close one person. If you close that one person, you just spent $100 and you made back $2,000-$4,000. So this has been incredibly powerful. So I'm very excited about being able to offer you guys this. Like, I only scratched the surface in this and it immediately started to work. So I know that if you take this on and you want to give it a go, I know that this can work. And the wonderful thing is, because you can target the ads, you'll be able to get exactly the right person. Like, imagine you're, running a retreat for divorcees, for instance, and you just target women between 50 and 60. Like, you're getting the most high quality leads coming through, which is totally different than if you were just posting, organic content. So that's in there. Now, what is it worth being able to generate applications on demand overnight? I put $5,000 on that. Then there's obviously all the legal considerations. I've had to go through all of this stuff depending on what country I'm running it in. So I have a whole library of templates, liability waivers, cancellation policies, terms and conditions, content waivers, release forms. There's all the stuff in there. You don't need to use all of it. It totally depends on your own risk tolerance as well as where you are hosting your retreat. But it's all in there for you guys to use. I've built this up over years. Now, all the legal stuff for peace of mind, I put $1,500 on that. There's also a venue database that I've been building up over the last 5 years. So I have an entire database of venues, the venues that I personally use, as well as all kinds of other ones. We've also had people submit their venues to Retreat Launch, in the UK, in the US. So there's an entire list in there from the countless hours that I've spent looking through Airbnb and Booking.com. So you can get access to that venue list as well, which I put $1,000 on, but that's probably valuing my time at about $5 an hour, considering how much time I've spent surfing the web for the best retreat venues around the world. Now, this one, if you are somebody who's willing to jump on camera and communicate, if you're willing to jump that little hurdle, this thing has been incredible. Okay, so I've done multiple trainings to learn how to do YouTube the right way. Most people make YouTube videos and they just put them out, they get a couple of views, and then they just disappear into the YouTube graveyard. That is not how YouTube works. There is a way that you can create videos so that you prove to the YouTube algorithm that you are a quality person, that it can recommend content around your chosen transformation. So you find whatever your chosen transformation is, and then you make all of the content around that topic. And then by optimizing your title, your thumbnail, the structure of the video, getting people to engage, and ideally getting a high click-through rate, you can create a really amazing situation where this is literally like an entire career. Okay, you can use this for anything. Okay, so for instance, this is a video that I made. I took the screenshot the other day, and I made this video a year ago. Okay, and you can see in the beginning it had barely any traction, but because I structured it the right way, I followed all of the tips that I give you in this training as well. This thing is now compound interest, increasing constantly, to the point where the other week it was literally getting 10,000 plays per day. Now it's getting about 4,500 per 48 hours. So every day, 2,500 people are watching a 45-minute video of me teaching them how to meditate. Okay. Now I can make 20 more videos like this, the 5 biggest reasons why meditation, why you're not meditating correctly, how to sit meditating. I can make this over and over and over again. And then you end up having a library of silent workers that are drawing in high quality leads. Now, if I finish that video by saying, by the way, guys, if you really want to learn to meditate properly, you can join me for my fantastic, year-round meditation retreats in places like Greece and Mykonos and wherever. Click the link below and check out the sales page to see whether it's a place you would love to take your amazing holiday, yada, yada, yada. You could drive these videos either to an opt-in or straight to your sales page. But all I can say is, if you have a good transformation, like, you can go on YouTube and you type in, like, how do I solve this problem? How do I do whatever? And look at the videos that are on there. And I teach you exactly in this video what to look for to find these little gaps in the algorithm, so that you start making videos that rise to the top. And then when people watch anything on that topic, on the suggested side thing, so you can see up here where the percentages of the viewers are coming from. YouTube is sending me free leads every day. 54% of these 200,000 people are coming from YouTube, and then 26% are coming from people actually searching and then browsing through the videos, and then my video slowly rising to the top. This was the first video that I did when I applied all of that knowledge. And this is literally an entire career for whatever business you want to run, all in one, and it's in there. I managed to condense it down to, I think, about 50 minutes where I teach you how to do this. I also teach you how to film natural looking video with equipment that you already have and a $40 ring light. But yeah, this is one thing I'm so excited about, because I'm using this more for my different apps now. I'm making YouTube content to drive towards the problems that my apps solve. And I just know that if you want to have compound, if you, like I said, this thing gets easier and easier once you start. But this, if you can crack this, and like I said, it's not hard. You just got to speak to one person on the other side, know what their problem is, and follow what I tell you in there to have the right structure. Like, this is incredible. It just keeps building. You can stop everything, and the videos keep being shown to people, and people still build desire and interest, and then check out your offer at the end. Like, it is literal magic. And this has only been possible for the shortest amount of time. And honestly, 99.9% of people who upload YouTube videos are not doing it like this. It's a tiny little sliver of people. And I paid thousands of dollars to learn this information, but you guys can get it in this program as well. So what is it worth to be able to, do all of this marketing essentially for free, ongoing, compound, interesting? For me, I put at least $3,000 on it, but to be honest, it's an entire career that you can aim at whatever you want. Now, there's also a community. Obviously, when you're doing this, power in numbers. If you have a mastermind, if you have other people who are on the same journey, it's so valuable. So we made a Facebook group so that you can go in there. I also have team members who help, especially Ashley and Sonia, and they're in there, they're answering questions, they're helping people. Once a month, I also do a Q&A call. So if you have questions along your journey, you can just drop them into the group. You can submit them. And then once a month, I jump on and I basically answer all of the questions. Those recordings are also added and put into the course. So there's already a few in there. And we're going to time code all of the questions that we've answered so that you can have ongoing support on this journey. To me, I put $2,000 on that. Then there's also a recurring revenue mentorship model. This was the last bonus step on the bottom of the 5-step formula I mentioned at the beginning of this training. So this is when you finish a retreat, everyone's literally hugging each other. They're crying. They don't want to go home. They don't want to leave this bubble of love and amazingness. And, these people, they've had a transformation, but life starts coming back in and starts reinforcing those old beliefs and those old, the old people that were around you before. They're triggering those old things. So this is a way that you can support people's transformation by creating an ongoing mentorship basically with them. And you can also keep the group energy alive. You will have people from the group all joining in, and they're like, great, we're still together. So you can create like regular calls and structures. But this is also a way that you can actually create an ongoing revenue stream for yourself outside of the retreats that gets built on with every subsequent retreat that you do. So, you can charge a few $100s a month or however much you want, and it starts building up over time as you add more people from each subsequent retreat. So I've got a whole structure to follow that's in there as well. So it creates revenue outside of the retreat. I know you guys can't see it behind this thing, so I put like $2,000 on that. And then look, the total value of this thing is $24,500. Now, obviously, I'm not going to charge you guys $24,500, but I do genuinely believe that it is worth at least this, because I make multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars a year from this exact knowledge that I've put all into this. Okay. But I do want to ask you a question. Like, if I'm not going to charge you $24,500. But if all this program did was give you a step-by-step process to create retreats and make, say, 10 grand or 20 grand a month, or even 10 or 20 grand a few times a year, using just a few days of your time, which you can then use for the rest of your life. Don't forget, retreats never runs out of relevance. Okay. In fact, the older people get, the more time they have and financial resources to maybe go away with some friends. So this is something, once you learn how to do this, you can do this for the rest of your life. I know I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. Would that make it worth it, right? For $24,000. Now, if all this did was show you how to create and fill retreats that are truly life-changing for your guests, right? Because that's also what you want to do. You want to change people's lives during these retreats. It's not just another holiday with cocktails and hanging out. And I showed you how to create an event that becomes a literal turning point in people's lives. Like the amount of people that message us years later and they're like, yo, 2019, that was the turning point for me. New career, new relationships, new outlook, new mental health, everything. If I taught you how to do that so that what you are creating becomes something that has a literal, deep, meaningful why for your life, like, would that be worth an investment like that? I would like to think yes. And if all this program did was showed you a new way that you can live your life, and a way that you can make an income, have meaning, and freedom to live your life on your own terms, that you don't need to be glued to the computer the entire time, like I had been for literally 10 years. And it's a process that you can do anywhere in the world that's never going to be obsolete, like literally a new career path with freedom, abundance, and significance. Would that be worth it? For me, I think it is. All right. But obviously I know it is. So the question I have is like, have you been thinking about what kind of retreat you want to run? And like, what is that worth it to you? Like I want to see in the chat, just like have a think, like how many retreats a year do you think you want to do? And how many people do you see coming? I find that 12 people is kind of like the lowest number. Like 12 is a good number. 12 is like a good small retreat. I have run retreats all the way up to 38 people, and that was a party, I got to say, the one in Cyprus. We have decided to limit that back down to 33 now, just because it was a bit much, even though it was amazing. Everyone starts splitting into different groups. But I'd love for you to just do a quick calculation just on your notepad, all right? Like, are you going to run 1 or 2 retreats? Or are you thinking about really like going all in on this if you can? Like, do you want to do 4, 5, 6 or more per year? Like I said, my max was 14 in 1 year, which was pretty wild. So, and also what's the price point you're thinking of charging? I actually charge quite a low amount for our retreats because our customer avatar is 26. They're dealing with mental health, so we make it like $2,500, which is basically the same as just going on a holiday by themselves to Canggu, to Bali, and sitting by the pool. Now, what for you, if you calculated that, like, if you're willing to, drop it in the chat, like what you see, like call it into existence, like how many retreats do you want to do? What do you want to charge? And how many people do you want to have come? I would love for you to just like get a picture in your head, because the more you can imagine that, the more you'll widen your comfort zone. And if you're also willing to put it in the chat, then you're actually willing to own it and to have other people see it. So I would love to see what you guys put in there. Now I'm going to show you just a real quick insight of some of the numbers on my end. So for instance, for our Bali retreats, right, we have 30-person capacity. My partner and I, we take one room for ourselves. We take one of the best rooms. So we're right there on the pool with everyone. So we have 28 guests. We charge $2,500, which is $70,000 US dollars in revenue. The venue costs $16,000. The food costs about $3,000. And I'm just seeing some of the numbers that you guys are putting there. Amazing. 6 retreats at $2,500. How many people though? I would love to see. Great. Okay. See, the range of numbers that you guys are putting there is looking really good, because a lot of people, they undervalue themselves, right? Like even I offer our retreats at a very affordable number, but most people, right. Look, one of you even has a retreat venue in the Dominican Republic. So that's amazing. Now, when we do the Bali retreats, I pay about $3,000 for the food. We have, all the other extras. We go out for dinner at one point. We go to the waterfall. We have transport. So I make about $40,000 to $45,000 from 1 week. And like I said, next year, I'm not even hosting them myself anymore. So I add another 5,000 on top, which I'm paying for the coaches, and they're very happy to be able to do that work and get paid well. But like, I'm still making what I used to make in an entire year of full-time work in 1 week. And I can do this a bunch of times per year, which is like, it's like, what the hell, you know what I mean? Like, how's this even possible? And it is. And I wake up in the mornings and I'm like, my God, I love my life. And thank God that people want to take a leap and hang out. And it just works on all fronts. Okay. It works. Like, I have a rule that I only get involved in things where everybody walks away a winner. Okay. So I feel like I'm a winner. The venue is like, wow, we love hosting your retreat. You know, the people who are driving us, you know, a good friend of ours runs a transport company. He's like, I love when you run your retreats. All the guests are like, that was the best week of my life. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm getting paid more than an entire year's full-time work at the end of one of these weeks. So it's a glitch in the matrix. So, you know, all I can say is, you know, most people say, hey, you can either have fun or abundance. And I would just say, it's not about either or. You can be the exception to the rule. You can have both. I'm living proof. Okay. You can have abundance. You can have all the freedom in between it. You can have a shitload of fun while you're doing it. And you can have all the impact in the world at the same time with this model. So, like, you know, what I want to say is this program, I'm going to tell you how much it costs in a moment. It's not a cost. Okay. It's an investment. Okay. And I've tried to price this really, really, really well so that, you know, you guys feel actually like you want to take a leap. Now, I wanted to quickly read you real quick a couple of testimonials that we had. This one's from Amber. So she wrote, retreat launch has been quite amazing. I'm very grateful for the program. I launched my first retreat since joining and she booked out in 2 weeks. Okay. So she was running 1-day retreats for mothers and it just sold out like hotcakes. I'd already been hosting retreats, but I was struggling with marketing and getting people to book. It was a bit of a roller coaster, but I really wanted to make this a sustainable business. The content part of hosting was very easy for me, but the finances, the marketing, and how to properly present it was much more difficult. I wanted to find a business mentor or someone to help me when a friend of mine sent me an ad for retreat launch with me, yours truly. And I realized that it was exactly what I needed. Retreat launch has pushed me outside my comfort zone in every part of the way, which has been amazing. It has really helped me better understand how to sell my retreat, how to understand who I'm talking to, and how to talk to them in an authentic way, and how to find the people that need this, who are looking for this. Joining the program has been the most serious decision I've made business-wise and has taken my business to the next level. I'm 100% so happy that I enrolled, and I've already recommended the program to others. Every penny has been worthwhile. So I've been super, super impressed and excited by watching Amber's results, and she's now running these retreats continuously. This one was also Eleonora. She said, I was inspired by my own need for transformative experiences to create something bigger than just teaching public classes. My biggest challenge was marketing. I didn't realize that it was a very big part of creating retreats. So many people don't. People think that, you know, that mentality of if I build it, they will come. And unfortunately, that's not really how it works. You know, so I felt stuck. Like, I tried everything I knew and could not figure out what I was missing. Why were people not signing up? I asked the universe to guide me towards people who would be able to help me. And that's when I found Chris in Retreat Launch. It's very grateful she joined. You know, Chris genuinely wants to help. I do. And give us everything we need to be successful. I'm not gatekeeping shit. Okay. And Retreat Launch has given me a lot of different tools that I can use in my own way before, during, and after the retreats, even tools I didn't know I needed. It has given me permission to try new things and provide constant support through the community of like-minded people in the Retreat Launch team. Retreat Launch has been very valuable for me. It has given me the confidence that there is a solution for any problem I may have, and that what I'm creating with the help of Retreat Launch is something that people really need in life. So when I read these testimonials, it really lights me up because it makes me go, yes, okay, this is, it's hitting home. It's being received. Okay, so to me, this is worth at least $24,500, but the price that I usually charge for this was $3,000 because I thought, if my program, everything that I've learned can help people, you know, the average that people charge is like $3,000 for a retreat spot. I thought, you know what, if you can get one extra spot because of me and because of what I contributed, then the program's paid for itself. That was my logic when I said $3,000. But because you guys are here on this webinar, and it's only on this webinar that I'm going to do this, but because you guys are here right now, I'm not going to charge you $3,000. I'm going to charge you $997. And you can even break it down into four monthly payments of $297. You know, like I probably pay that much for coffee once a month. I'm going to sleep very well at night knowing that I'm completely over delivering, because this is an entire lifelong career that can make you incredibly wealthy, happy, and abundant, and leave a trail of just satisfied people. And, you know, it's not a tiny amount of money, of course, but it's supposed to be an amount of money that will make you a little bit uncomfortable for some of you, because that's what will also elicit the follow through that you're going to need to fully get this off the ground. So that's the price. Now I've got a thing here I'm going to pop up. Here we go. For any of you guys that want to jump on and have me as your mentor on your retreat journey. I'm so glad that you guys stuck with me all the way to the end here. And now, you know, you basically have two options now. Okay. Option one is do nothing. It's always a very valuable, very valid option that you can take. The other option is you make a tiny investment and you just go and give it a shot, because honestly, if you achieve what I've achieved through this, like, it is completely life-changing, and you'd be surprised what your life will turn into after this. And I do have a policy. Okay. I'm not here to bullshit anyone. Okay. So if I can't make you money, then I do not deserve yours. So there's a 30-day money back guarantee. That way you can sign up now. You can check out the course. You can get started. You can take as much value as you want. And so long as you do the work, so long as you actually watch the videos and take action, I don't care if it's 29 days, 23 hours and 59 minutes from now. If you feel that, you know what, Chris, I want my money back, you know, in 28 days from now or something, I'll give you your money back. Okay. I don't care. Like, it makes no difference to me. Okay. This can change everything for you, but whether you sign up or not right now makes no difference to me. I'm going to be back next week, you know, next month, just telling people to run retreats, and I'm going to keep running my own retreats. But I want to help you guys do this. Anyone that feels called in here to step up and become a retreat leader. So, you know, this means you can sign up right now, and you don't even need to decide for a month whether you think it's actually worth it. So I just wanted to remove that entire barrier to entry. So, you know, if you feel like this is you, then like click the button and jump on right now, you know. And the thing that I will also say is, like, the best thing about this new income stream is that if you're already a coach, if you already are in the business of helping people with a problem, the wonderful thing is that this thing just slots right onto your business. It's the same thing as one-on-one coaching, but you're just doing it on a destination where you guys can all sit in the sun and enjoy yourself. So, you know, this program, like, it just makes it, I just want this to be something that you can very naturally slot into what you're already doing. This doesn't require you to learn an entirely new thing, to start a totally separate thing. You don't need to split your mind in half and be like, oh, I've got this business and I've got this business. If you're already a coach and you're already helping people, this is a natural next step. And this will be so easy for you guys to add onto your business. So, you know, the question really is now, if even a fraction of what I've shared with you guys is true, and it is, but like, if you know, what have you got to lose to not just try this and just to check it out? So if you're on the fence, like, you know, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And all I can say is, people stand in front of this, you know, this wall of uncertainty and refuse to take a step through, and they wait until they feel ready. And all I got to say is, the time never comes when you feel ready. What actually happens is you step into the abyss, and then an invisible bridge just appears. Like, whenever you decide to just fully commit to something, the universe starts backing you. Okay. People will start coming out of the woodwork. They will start being like, hey, you know, I've been looking for a way to solve this problem. I've had this experience this so many times. So you just have to take that first step first. Okay. And it's an unfolding. Okay. It's an unfolding, but yeah, doing this course, it's just going to make things so much easier for you guys, because you're not going to have to deal with all of the bullshit I've had to go through. So, but one thing I was going to say is, I do have one more thing that I'm going to add, but this is only for the first 50 people who sign up. I think we had 300 or 400 people register for this webinar. So I'm going to send out the replay to people. The first 50 people who join are also going to get the meditation audios that I actually use, that my partner uses, that we've used for the last 12 years, okay, that completely transformed her life as well as mine. I'm going to include them in the course. There's a good reason for it too. Number one, it's going to change your life if you don't already have a solid, powerful meditation practice. This is, like I said, this is what soldiers learn to overcome suicidal PTSD. Okay, this is in there for you to use. It's 20 minutes a day. All I can say is when you're running your retreat, doing this at the start of the day fully just calms your brain down so that when you step out into your group, you will be the calmest, most collected, most fully here person there. So it's amazing for your own self-care. But the other thing I will say is feel free to play these audios during your retreat. You can tell people like, hey guys, we're going to do a meditation, put it on a speaker, put it in a Telegram group for everyone to do with headphones. Like use this during your retreat at the beginning for multiple reasons, okay? When strangers join together, they have stranger danger, okay? People get socially anxious, they close off, they don't want to be vulnerable. When you calm the brain down every day at the start of the day, and you can even do the second meditation later in the day, my God, it makes the group just bond so quickly. People just drop the guard. And then it means that when usually it takes them 4 days to become really vulnerable and become great friends, they'll become that on like day 2. So it also, if there's anyone there that would usually interrupt and become very obnoxious, by getting them to meditate, you're minimizing all of this potential fallout. So the first 50 people who join are going to get those meditations as well. So if you're in, like I said, you don't even need to decide whether you want this program for another 30 days. All you do is you just sign up and you can use the 30-day money back guarantee if you feel like it's not a fit. But just jump in now so that you get those meditation audios as well. Okay, I've reached the end. I've reached slide number 140 something. Now, I'm going to take a sip of water here. If you guys have questions, please drop them into the Q&A section up there. I can see there's already a bunch in there. So if you guys want to throw in a few more, I'm just going to take a sip of water. Now I have a notepad here. I have a couple of Q&As that I'm going to start off with that everybody always asks. So I'm going to go do those first. And then I'm going to also answer the ones that you guys are dropping in there as well. So let me first of all stop my slide presentation. Here I am, full screen again. Let me know in the chat, by the way, how are you guys feeling? How was that? I feel like I'm a little bit lightheaded. I'm going to have to get myself a sandwich after this. I thought I would get this done in less than 2 hours. We're already sitting at almost 2.5. But look, jumping into the Q&As. So the first question is, people always ask, how long should I leave time frame in order to fill up a retreat? Some people put themselves under mad pressure and they're like, I got to put it on now and then sell it out in 3 months. It's like, you can do that, but it depends on a few things. It depends whether you have an existing client base, whether you have a community, also whether, you're doing it locally, if it's a shorter one, if it's the barrier to entry is a bit lower, you can definitely pull that off 100%. Like you saw before from Amber's testimonial, she managed to sell out her 1-day retreat literally within 2 weeks, and she had like 15 people. So what I would say is, if you already have an existing business, which I assume you do, right, then thank you so much, Tony, for saying that. If you already have an existing business, you don't need to put yourself under mad pressure to have to deliver it super soon, right? So what I often do is I put the retreats at least 6 months, usually up to 12, because a lot of people are more organized than I am and they book their holidays way in advance. And then you've got lots of time to sell it out. And if you've got, once you sell it out, you can even add another date. What you don't want to do is ever get into an energy and a vibration of lack, okay, where you are stressing out, because then you're also anti-manifesting people booking. So, you can launch the retreat literally within 2 to 6 weeks with this program, especially. But then I would honestly leave like 6 to 12 months. For instance, my next retreat is about 6 months away right now. And then I've got 4 more after that in the months after. So I've got a big gap right now where I'm focusing on other things, even though the money is still coming in. Just don't forget that when people book, they're already paying you up front. And also in Retreat Launch, I've got a strategy strategy that you can use, that I use, in order to get a solid portion of people to pay all the money up front. So it gives you great cash flow. It's not about discounting. It's about like adding something of value. But that's all in there. So the next one is, how do I figure out pricing? So like I said, there's a pricing calculator inside of the course, but you really do want to calculate, what your time is worth, and put in the hours before the retreat. Remember, you're already working on the retreat now. So that needs to be baked in there. You want to feel really satisfied with running your retreat. And remember, when people are going on these holidays, they're used to paying thousands of dollars just to sit by the pool and scroll Instagram and drink cocktail. If you're actually going to solve a real big problem for them, like, that's worth a lot. So you should charge accordingly. But a big part of this is also about getting into the head of your ideal person so that you can find that sweet spot. But yeah, like I said, there's a pricing calculator in the program. So if you guys sign up, you get that as well. How do you book a retreat venue? How do you not pay all of it up front? The great thing is when you find retreat venues, there's so many different kinds of retreat venues that you can use. There's private villas, there's boutique hotels, there's all kinds of, you could do a camping retreat if you wanted to, and everybody just sets up around a fireplace. But a lot of places, if you just have a conversation with them, you've earned that sandwich, yeah. If you have a conversation with the venue owners and explain to them what your mission is, if you get the right person on the horn, and tell them like, hey, this is what my vision is. Once again, you talk to them, you share what your intention is. If you tell them then like, look, obviously the challenge for me is, that I need to sell this up front in order to yada, yada, yada. I'm able to get places for 10 to 20% deposits. I've been able to find venues when I communicate with them. I'm going to give you guys two really amazing free tips right now. One is, and this is one of those big ones that goes into everything, okay? You need to speak to the right person at the venue. That's the biggest thing, right? If you're emailing info@whatever, it can be really challenging, right? But what you can do is, there's a tactic I'm just going to give you guys right now. There's a website, write this down, called Voila, like the French Voila, Voila, Norbert.com, Norbert, like the German name, Voila, Norbert.com. This is a page that allows you to put in a name and an email, a website extension, and it will search the back end of a website for an email address. This thing is insane, okay? So if I find a hotel, I don't write hello at whatever. I find the hotel manager by typing in the hotel's name, manager, and LinkedIn on Google. And then I start seeing people's names. Then I copy that name, I put it in Voila Norbert, I put the website of the hotel, I hit search, and I get that exact person's email address. I've used this so many times in so many different ways. So like, use that. That is literally the key to the kingdom if you need to speak to someone directly. So number one, you can book a lot of places for 10%, like the villas in Cyprus that we book. It's like 15,000 euros for 7 or 8 villas with 40-person capacity. They only charge 10% upfront. So I pay 1,500 euros. Boom, suddenly I have 40 spots that I can potentially sell. Like I said, I only sell 33 of them, and the rest I fill with our team. And then the balance is only due like 2 or 3 months beforehand. And they're super flexible. Like I have to remind them that I need to pay. They're not even messaging me about it. So that's one. The other option is also, if you want to use Airbnb, there is the ability to pay a small portion to lock in your booking. And as long as you check the booking cancellation policy, you can even have a backup. Like I put on a retreat at one point, like short notice. And then I realized like I had too many other things on that I couldn't fully dedicate myself to it. So 2 months later, I was able to just cancel it and it got all the money back. So there is the ability to do that, like bit payment on Airbnb as well. Now, the next thing is just how long the offer is available from this webinar. It's like I said, I'm only going to offer this during this webinar right now. So like I said, guys, this is why I'm putting this on. That's why you guys have the guarantee. So like if you're ready, then like jump in. If not, it's all good. You can maybe track me down later on, send me a message, maybe we can see what we can do. But yeah, the offer is only right now during the webinar. So what else? What if I don't have content? So if you don't have content, just remember, you filming content of yourself, just sharing your story, is more important than showing what the place looks like. Okay, some photos of the venue will go a long way. If you're making a VSL, put some of the photos in there, show photos of, the surrounding landscape. Here's the beach, yada, yada, yada. Also, there's a bunch of great websites now that you can use. I mean, incredibly, actually, the other day, I only found that there's 2 websites. One is called Unsplash, unsplash.com, and the other one is called Pexels, Pexels. These are free stock image websites that are super high quality. You don't need to reference anyone. You can download high quality images for free. And I saw that Pexels now actually have video as well. So you can download all these amazing video clips of, people gathering and sitting around a fire and doing whatever it is that you want. And you can add that into your VSL and it's free of charge. So write down those 2, unsplash.com and Pexels, Pexels.com. So put that together and just remember, your storytelling, your vulnerability, you speaking directly to the person on the other side of the lens, that is what's more important than needing to have like actual content. When it comes to doing the content, like after you've run your first retreat, during the retreat, you don't need to have a full-on photographer, videographer, all that crap there. Just like all you need is your phone, okay? And just get little moments, little 5-second, 10-second, 15-second moments along the way. Just take them in both formats. And remember, the best type of content is genuine content caught in the moment. So you don't need to have some big like, hey, everybody, cheese, don't do that. Just get little moments along the way. And then that's going to help you with your short form organic content. That's going to help with your TikTok and Instagram ads if you want to run those. But keep it real. Keep it real. You don't need to keep it orchestrated. Okay, then how is the course structured? So the course, like I said, you can launch a retreat in 2 to 6 weeks if you want to just pump it. But it's self-paced. So like once you have access to the content, once you have access to the community, do it at your own pace. Like I said, I want healers and teachers and coaches to be able to stay in that calm, balanced energy. I don't want you to have to stress out, and I don't want you to have to feel like I need to fucking burn myself out to get this thing. It's like, my mission is that you don't have to do that. I want to make this as easy as possible for you so that you can speak genuinely because you know who you're speaking with. You can record and create content in a nice, calm, genuine fashion that actually communicates correctly. And yeah, I just want to show you the path to get like straight there so that you can skip all the crappy bits beforehand that I've had to go through. But yeah, the course is self-paced, so there's absolutely no pressure. It's not going to lock up or something. You're going to have it forever. It's a one-time fee that you're paying to have access forever, including to the community. And the Q&A calls. What do I do if I have multiple avatars? I get this one a lot. I would honestly recommend choosing just one, right? Like remember, like you want to be super specific about that one person, and then you're going to magnetically attract all of the versions of that one person. And you're already going to have lots of extra people join. You're going to have, if you're marketing the right way, you're going to have a lot of extra people join who apply, who aren't actually a fit anyway. But if you have 2 avatars and you're trying to speak to both of them, if they're different, it's going to confuse everything, okay? If you're for everyone, you're for no one. So you're better off, choose the one that you most align with. And here's the thing, if you really want to serve this other person in a totally different way, make another retreat concept, make another sales page, another VSL, another transformation, make it specific to them, but talk to one person. How do I launch? I mentioned that before in the program. There's a launch strategy that works really well. It's like an on-ramp that creates FOMO, basically. And it also, like I mentioned early on in the training, there's a way that you can like gather information from people to get them to help you figure things out. And then they also become the initial list that you actually speak with. And okay, now I'm going to jump over to the actual Q&As. Let me have a look here. Okay, what was the name of the app to create a questionnaire? Not Unsplash. Typeform.com is a company that's owned by Google, and they are amazing. You can go really deep on, you can create like where it goes to at the end. You can even put in like a logic. So if somebody fills this out, then ask them this question as well. If they clicked something else, then skip that question. So Typeform is the one. And you can also connect Typeform to your email client if you use ActiveCampaign or MailChimp or something. You can have them speak to each other so that when people fill it out here, it immediately gets the information added to your email client. So does the payment style play a role in locking in the client, such as a payment plan or deposit style or the entire price up front? Yeah, a little bit. I do like to give people the option. So I usually have a $500 deposit, and then you can either do an automated payment plan, but it can get a little bit weird sometimes depending on, because like someone might book 9 months out and then another person books 3 months out. And then if they want to do the payment plan, how do you do that? It gets a little bit confusing. So what I personally do is I have a deposit up front, and then I choose 2 time frames. So I'll say like 6 months out, 3 months out. We're going to split the money into, like I said, the energy is like, it's a group of friends going on a holiday. So like, don't treat it so much as a business, treat it as like, be cool. So like, okay, I want all my friends to go on a holiday with me. How do I best do this? Hey guys, just give me 500 right now. And then look, 6 months out, 3 months out, we do 1,000, and then we're all good. So then it's just like, and then that way I let them know, don't worry, I'm going to reach out and let you know 2 weeks before, so that you have time to get the next $1,000 ready. So it's all about removing friction and making life as easy as possible for them so that they can feel comfortable to actually join and to make it possible. But then, like I said, I also have the full payment option where you add something on top, which I mentioned in the program. And, I probably have about 50% of people pay the full amount upfront so that they get that extra thing. And then that gives me a nice bit of cash flow. And it also means that like, I know that in 3 months time, I'll have like $50,000 come in. And then another 3 months later, there'll be another $50,000 coming in, which is a really nice feeling to kind of pace your own cash flow during the year using these payment plans. Now, what app do you use to send people text messages for this class? I think we used clicksend.com. Do I offer a sales call to everybody? So no, what I would say is sales calls have the highest percentage of closing if you will do it, right? Now, what I will say is depending on who you're speaking with, if you're speaking to people below 30, you can probably expect that about half the people aren't going to show up for the sales call, and this is perfectly normal. Let me just manage your expectation there, right? If you're targeting people over 50, you're probably going to have a much higher percentage because those people are going to have a lot more follow through. They feel like it says something about their own identity, whether they show up or not to the call. People under 30, like everyone's fried from social media. Attention spans are short. Social anxiety is high. So you should expect that a lot of people won't show up. However, the ones that do, you will have the highest percentage closing rate with those versus just messaging or sending emails. Now, I don't do sales calls personally anymore, but that's because I've got the business to the point, like I said, it gets better and easier and faster after, over time. I have so much demand now that I don't need to anymore. So I do it via Instagram DMs and we do it via WhatsApp. And I even ask in the application form, this is one of the best things. If there are multiple ways that you want to offer that you can communicate with them, ask them which one they prefer. So say like, hey, I want you to talk with me via iMessage, WhatsApp, email, or feel free to call me. You could even say on there, and then they choose it. That way you can choose the exact, method that they want to be contacted with. Okay. Chemistry loves the training. Thank you so much. So what will be the program cost after this webinar? So after the webinar, I'm probably going to revert it back to the 3,000 because, like I said, it's one retreat person's guest. If you're here right now, you can get it at this 1/3 of that. You know, I feel like I'm over delivering 100x of what it is, but yeah, after this, it's going to go back when it's just the evergreen version. It goes back to the 3K. But I will probably do another webinar maybe a month from now. So if you keep an eye out for it, there could be another opportunity for you to jump in. But yeah, otherwise, right now, like I said, you know, if you're in a place where you can join, then join right now. You're going to get the meditations as well, which is like, for me, that's the most priceless thing in a piece. But like I said, you don't have to decide for an entire month whether you actually want this or not. Okay, and then next, how do you suggest to put your story together? Well, like I said, it's about defining your hero's journey, right? So who were you in the beginning? What were you dealing with? Articulate that, you know, then talk about what was it that triggered you to go on your journey of transformation. Describe, you know, the pains you went through, your aspirations, the emotions. Figure out when you put it together, whatever plan, what was it that made you go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try that. And then how did you feel after when you came over? You know, it's like follow the traditional hero's journey. Like I said, there's a great book that you can buy that talks about this called Building a Story Brand. Highly recommend that one. Do you have a trick to find the Airbnbs that aren't ridiculously expensive for the amount of guests you hope to host? So one thing I would say is people who own Airbnbs are normal people. And they also would love to be able to say that they've hosted this amazing transformational retreat at their own venue. So what I would say, number one, is message some of these people, okay? Message them and tell them what you're trying to do and see whether there's any movement on the price. And the other thing I would say is ask whether there is a way that you can increase the occupancy. Okay, so if you can find a way to add some extra single beds, you know, each single bed is another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Something I would also say, free tip, if you're running a retreat just specifically targeted at one gender, like, you know, our self-love retreats are targeted at women. I actually have a question inside of our application form where I ask people whether they are open to sharing a bed if we have sold out the single bed options. Okay. Now, the reason for that is it's very difficult sometimes to find a venue where it's all single beds. Obviously, ideal scenario, you have single beds everywhere. But a lot of places have like 6 rooms, 7 rooms, and they're king size beds. If you're just speaking to women in particular, you could probably get away with it if you're just speaking to younger guys maybe as well. But ideally, if you're speaking to women, you can ask that, like, look, you know, just let me know. Are you open? Would you still like me to offer you a place if we've booked out single beds? Are you open to, you know, being relaxed and sharing a king size bed? I have found from our experience that about 60 to 70% of our applicants say that they're actually open to it. And then it means that I can really increase the occupancy. And what's so funny is people who feel apprehensive at first, and then by the end of the week, they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad, my bestie, my roomie, you know. So if they just get over it, you know, I just write on the sales page, hey, sleepover vibes. And here's the thing, if somebody's a bit too uptight, they're like, I really don't want to do that. Then it's like, well, okay, well, then you can still come if there's a single bed. But if not, then it's all good because you have that detached energy about it, right? Okay. Then what if you're not a coach or yoga teacher? What would you recommend to begin? So number one, for instance, we don't do yoga either. I hire a local yoga teacher. My partner did a yoga teacher certification, but she's never taught it actually. She just used it for herself. What I will say is, like I said, this program works really great if you're a coach, if you have something to teach. But I will say it doesn't have to be like that, because retreats can be all kinds of stuff. Like, you could run a retreat for people who love food, okay? And you say, all right, we're doing a 5-day, whoop, I've just got a notification. I've only got 15 minutes left. So you could say people have, you know, let's say you're running a retreat for people who are foodies. They just love food, Italian food. And you say, we're going to Florence for 5 days and we're going to taste 10 different types of pasta. You will find a lot of people who are like, oh my God, Florence, Italian food, pasta, you know, great. And then it's all whining and dining. Like, you could do it that way. The second way is, find coaches, find a coach who has a transformation. There are, so many people out there who have amazing modalities, amazing stories, who are looking for this kind of opportunity. And what I will say is, I've built our retreats business with my partner. I do all of the logistics. I do a lot of the teaching, but she also helps with a lot of the content. She also does some of the teaching. So this is also a great thing to team up with someone. So if you are willing to be the person who puts together all the stuff, organizes it so that the person you're working with can fully just ease into the teaching archetype, that's also a wonderful situation. So, by, for instance, doing this program, you can become the person who's you're a certified, retreat organizer in that essence. And in fact, in the program, we actually have a certification that we also give, so that if you want to tell someone that hey, work with me, I'm going to help and be the backbone of this, we basically certify you that hey, you've done this course. So you've done a training, a full-on training to have as much knowledge so that you have credibility. So, and then can you repeat the answer to the payment style question? Yeah, what I was just saying is, I do deposits up front, and then I choose dates where the remaining balances are due. And then I also have a full payment option with a bonus that incentivizes them. Okay, and then do you pay people to help you assist during the retreat? I've gone to retreats with 7 people assisting. Wow. Yeah, I've heard about a lot of retreats that have a lot of additional space holders. It depends on the nature of the retreat, and it depends on how many people are coming, right? So, for instance, in Bali, when we run the retreat, we have up to 28 guests, so it's quite a big retreat. I hired a local Balinese woman who is a project manager. I managed to find her on Upwork.com by searching for Indonesia, and then I found someone in Canggu. So she ended up helping be the logistics backbone, and then me and my partner, we were kind of tag teaming the workshops and holding space. Like I said, 28 people is quite a lot. If you're doing this by yourself, I would highly recommend finding an additional person to bring on just to take some of the classes off your hands. We also do have a yoga teacher, like I said, a local Balinese yoga teacher, Ika, who's amazing. She has 30,000 Instagram followers, so she's not like all the other locals. No, Upwork, upwork.com. It's like an online career platform, and so we have Ika, the yoga teacher, so she's always starting out the day with everyone. And then me and my partner, we're tag teaming the workshops. And then I also hired the local girl to just help with all the little logistical questions. If someone's asking, hey, what time does the bus come? I don't want to have to answer that because I'm saving my energy for the workshops. But what I will say is there are so many people who would love to do this kind of work. So, last time we ran our Bali retreats, we hired a friend of ours who's a yoga teacher, a women's coach. She's German. She lives in Bali. She helped out. She loves this work. The girls absolutely loved her. So that made life so much easier. So much so that next year she's going to be leading them. And then I'm finding a second teacher to basically help her, as well as our local project manager. So there's going to be those 3 plus the yoga teacher hosting these 28 people retreats, because myself and my partner are going to be in Europe at the time. So yeah, anyway, guys, I think that's about it. There's no other questions I can see here in the Q&As. I think I have earned a sandwich, which I'm going to get myself, but my God, it took 3 hours again. But thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you learned a lot. And look, if you're already in, then congratulations, welcome. I'm super excited to see you guys inside of Retreat Launch and see you on the monthly Q&As and inside of the group as well. If not, I hope at least I planted some kind of seed for you guys to be able to to just if you I can only recommend jumping on this path. My God, this is never going to go out of fashion. People want to make friends. People want to connect, especially the older they get, especially the crazier the world gets. All I can say is at the end of every retreat, it's a feeling of, faith in humanity restored, because you realize that there are so many great people out there. You just need to crack them a little bit. You just got to get past that little stranger danger. layer, and retreats are just so incredible for that. All right, thank you guys so much for staying all the way to the end. I hope you guys got lots of value, and I'm wishing you guys all the absolute very best, all the success and abundance in the world. And I hope to see a bunch of you guys inside of Retreat Launch as well. All right, I'm wishing you all the best. Take care. And I think I'm going to head back to the beach in a moment for a nice latte and some sunshine. All right, see you guys. Bye.